Zombie Apocalypse.
What is up, guys? It's Kenniron here, introducing a new side of myself, the backside. Just kidding, I've been doing mostly gaming videos, but today I delve into one of my favorite movie franchises, Godzilla. If you don't already know, giant monsters such as Godzilla, King Kong, Gamera, etc. are commonly called Kaiju. Not exactly sure why, I don't know if that's a Japanese word or what, but they're just called Kaiju. And as you can probably tell from the title of this video, it isn't about Godzilla himself, but about my 10 favorite guest Kaiju in his films. So, let's get down to business, shall we? Number 10. Baragon. Baragon is a neat little dude, and while I don't really like his original derp look with his horny looking self and his lazy eye, the iteration in Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah Giant Monsters All-Out Attack is hot. Literally. He's a fire-breathing devil dog salamander possibly thingy. But anyway, he chases down a hellacious, enraged Godzilla and confronts him in battle because, well, that's his duty as a guardian monster. And he holds his own pretty well. One of his neatest features is that he digs underground in combat, and his high-pitched clicking roar is also kind of neat. And in the games, he does freaking flips! How cool is that? Number 9. Mechagodzilla. You ever wonder what would happen if hostile aliens made a mechanical version of Godzilla equipped with missiles, lasers, and a spinning head? Well, they'd try to take over the world, of course, and kill the original Godzilla in the process. The idea doesn't seem too original, and the design, while cool, does kinda resemble a tin can. But that doesn't mean they didn't have some great execution. He has missile factories inside his body, for crying out loud. That's gotta be the greatest excuse for unlimited ammo ever. Not to mention his frickin' face with frickin' lasers. This antagonist started an entire legacy of metal kaiju, so he definitely deserves a spot on this list. Number 8. Hedorah. Probably one of the more controversial kaiju on this list, Hedorah gets a mixed bag of feels. The Godzilla vs. Hedorah movie had a decent story, but it was overshadowed by its campiness, specifically with Godzilla. The fight was pretty one-sided, and while Hedorah should be more dangerous to Earth than even Godzilla, being a giant pollution monster and all, he still gets wrecked because Godzilla just needs to spam his atomic breath to dry out his body. Still, the PS4 game made him look pretty cool again, and I'd love to see a really dark-toned Hedorah movie without the presence of a giant flying Godzilla. Those were bad times. Number 7. King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah is considered Godzilla's arch-nemesis and biggest threat, and for good reason. Due to his size, strength, and 3 heads, he often overpowers Godzilla with ease, and that cannot be said about a lot of kaiju. Many times it takes 2 or 3 monsters to beat Ghidorah, and he's appeared as Godzilla's enemy more times than any other monster. He's had a number of backstories, from being an alien, to being a guardian monster, to being a genetically altered creature from the future. No matter the case, he's always pretty cool to see on screen, and I can't wait to see him face off against legendary Godzilla. Number 6. Monster X. Now, when I say Monster X, I mean his first form and not his Kaiser Ghidorah form. Nothing against his Ghidorah form, but his first form was so much cooler to me. He was extremely mobile and physical in combat, and that's something generally lacking in most Godzilla fights. Plus, he was a pretty fair match for what most consider to be the strongest Godzilla to date. I mean, look at this guy. This takes some serious strength. He's lifting Godzilla, and not in a great position either. That sounded odd. But anyway, I really wish they'd do more with him just because of how beast his design and fighting style is. I mean, he came floating in from a decimated asteroid the first time we see him. If that's not enough points for awesomeness, well, I don't know what is. Number 5. Orga. What's Toho's infatuation with aliens? Who knows? But it can sure give way to some pretty cool kaiju like Orga. Born from an alien ship that harvested Godzilla's DNA, he goes through multiple stages, each being somehow more deadly and crazier than the last. His final form, however, is generally hailed as one of the most physically powerful monsters Godzilla's ever faced. I mean, with hands that big, he's bound to be powerful. I wonder what he does with those in his spare time. And while he's good at close quarters combat, he can also pepper you from a distance with plasma beams and blasts. In the end of the Godzilla 2000 movie, he tries to eat Godzilla, and while they're of the same DNA, Godzilla still shows him who his daddy is. Number 4. Anguirus. Anguirus is a giant spiked armadillo creature and is never really given much of a backstory. He's just kinda there. He's not one of the strongest monsters, but I really think he could be if they modernized him. That doesn't stop him from being absolutely frickin' amazing and tagging along with Godzilla to fight threats from time to time. I think there's only been 2 movies where he was Godzilla's enemy, one being the second Godzilla movie in the 1950s, and the other being Final Wars in 2004. In Final Wars, he was controlled by aliens, so it wasn't necessarily his fault. I remember reading a comic about Godzilla, and the Anguirus action was actually pretty impressive. They really could do a lot with his character. And plus, he kind of reminds me of a dog in some ways, and well, all dogs are lovable. Number 3. Kiryu. Mechagodzilla 3, often called Kiryu for some reason, is another mechanical Godzilla imposter. Actually, he's not an imposter at all. He's the skeletal remains of the original 1954 Godzilla living inside a metal body. Yeah, it sounds kinda weird, but trust me, it's really neat to see Japan's own Godzilla defense system turn against them because he doesn't want to kill his own kind. Oh wait, holy crap. I didn't even realize this, but the number 3 spot goes to Mechagodzilla 3, so that's kind of an odd coincidence. Anyway, the design looks pretty sweet. It's definitely an upgrade from the previous 2. And with subtle messages to his pilot to say his final goodbye in the movies, Kiryu has some great depth as a character, and that's generally not seen in other kaiju. Oh, and more frickin' lasers. Number 2. Destroya. What can I say about this guy? He's probably Godzilla's single biggest threat. Made from the oxygen destroyer that killed the original Godzilla, Destroya faces off against an overpowered Godzilla and Godzilla Jr., and nearly wins. He looks like the spawn of Satan and can change his form in the middle of battle. His adaptability makes for versatile methods of fighting, from dragging enemies with his tail to surrounding them with smaller forms of himself to slashing them with his horn. With that devilish look, interesting backstory, and fighting skills, he should be number 1 on this list. But there's someone just a little more special. This is it, guys. The moment you've all been waiting for. The grand finale. The number 1 kaiju on this list is Varan the Flying Squirrel Monster. I'm just kidding. It's Gigan. Yeah, I like Gigan. Now, while the Final Wars Gigan is pretty cool, the original green and gold design is what sold me on this monster. He's a flying, teleporting cyborg armed to the teeth with lasers, scythe hands, and a saw blade stomach. He's also an alien, big surprise there, but the design of him alone is enough to get anyone salivating at the mouth. In Godzilla vs. Gigan, he makes Godzilla bleed more than any other kaiju I've seen. I feel like he could be modernized a bit and made to be an extremely deadly force. He definitely doesn't get some of the recognition that I think he deserves. Alright guys, that's it for this video. What did you think? Did I miss any of your favorite kaiju? Also, don't hate me for not putting in kaiju like Mothra, Biollante, or King Caesar in here. I really wanted to, but spots were filling up quick, especially Mothra. But let me know something down below, and I'll be sure to have some more Godzilla content in the future. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and Kenniron out.